What up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the Z-Man Show. Now, last year, if you had asked me what my most anticipated games of 2017 were, you were probably going to hear me talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And last year it came out, but I didn't have quite enough time to get around to doing a full review of it last year. It did show up on my Game of the Year awards, scoring a respectable 8th place. So today, I want to talk about more in-depth about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and why it's a really good game, with a few caveats. So with that in mind, let's get the show rolling. Onward to Elysium! Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a game that really isn't inviting. This is through and through a JRPG for fans of JRPGs. If you're really put off by a lot of these mechanics, I could see why so many people stopped their gameplay so early on before they really got into Xenoblade Chronicles 2. What really contributes to this is how complex Xenoblade Chronicles 2 systems are. I'm mostly talking about the combat and how you develop cities within the game. And I'm not saying that the previous two games were any less complex, but I feel like those issues are more exacerbated here in 2. But if you really stick with 2, if you really learn its mechanics inside and out, you will find a very rewarding and fun RPG for your Nintendo Switch. Your time in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 will be spent doing two things, either exploring, doing main and side quests in the main world of Alrest, and fighting, killing many innocent and not so innocent monsters. Let's talk about the exploring first. The world of Alrest is huge. Much like the first Xenoblade game, there are many areas to explore, each with their own bad guys to kill, shops to buy from, and side quests to do. And the more you help out a town, the development level goes up, offering even better equipment to buy and more side missions to do. So it is in your best interest to pause the main story from time to time and just explore the world and breathe and just see what Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and this world of Alrest has to offer for you. Fast traveling costs nothing, so go nuts. I will say side quests can get kind of annoying from time to time with what I call one more thing style of missions. You do one thing and these people want something else done. Do that thing, and oh no, their son is missing or something else stupid. No wonder the world of Alrest is going under. No one in the fucking town can wipe their ass without someone there to clean off the dingleberries. What makes the world of Alrest so fun to explore is how beautiful it is. Every area, every region has their own character that is told through visuals, and the music just enhances the mood tenfold. But what good is all this exploring without some bad guys to smash? The combat in 2 is different from previous games. And remember kids, different does not mean bad. Different is different. And the combat in 2 is really good. It takes a bit of time to get used to. For one, your characters have to stand still to auto-attack, and that's how you build up the meter to use your arts. With me so far? Then you use those arts to build up your elemental arts. And if you do the right combination of elemental arts, you can do huge damage to bad guys. But we're not done there. Once you fill up the talent gauge, that's the gauge on the top left-hand corner of the screen, you can activate chain combos, and then you can do elemental bursts for huge damage. And if you do things right, if you set up everything just right, you can do huge damage, and even the final bosses of the game won't be able to stand to your massive amounts of combo potential. So it does take a bit of time to get used to, and it does take a lot of trial and error to figure out which combinations work the best to get the most optimal combos. But when you figure it out, taking down these big bosses with one nice placed combo chain is very satisfying, even more so than anything I did in Xenoblade Chronicles 1 or X. Though there will be times where your party will get one shot by bosses of equal or even lower leveling than you, and you won't know why you're getting your shit pushed in. So sometimes you have to go in and mess with their blades. The blades are your new weapons this time around. Think of stands from JoJo's, but they have their own personalities and they're physical beings on their own. So through a bit of trial and error, you could basically take out any boss in the game, and when you take out those annoying bosses, oh man, you're gonna feel like you're on the top of the world, my man. Having said all that though, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a game made out of very, very, very little annoyances. I can see why people gave up the game so early. The plot doesn't really get too interesting until around chapter 5, and the combat is pretty unintuitive until you learn about combos, and even then, getting those massive combos take proper setups, which takes a lot of trial and error in my experience. Something that is missing from the previous games is cosmetics for your main characters, which is a huge letdown, especially because in Xenoblade Chronicles X you had fashion cosmetics that didn't affect your stats, but just made you look damn cool while you kill monsters and aliens and monster aliens. And speaking of things that were worse from the previous two games, the voice acting, at least for the English version, is just not that good. I'm not sure if it was due to the voice acting strike or they wanted to use maybe lesser known talents, but some of these voices are very grating, even if they do have some really emotional performances. Like really, did no one sit down and think, hey, Tora saying meh 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 for the 100th fucking time in battle, that won't get annoying, will it? No, just leave it in. And what the fuck is Nia saying right here?
And we're you.
And seriously, Nintendo, you couldn't have spent the $50 and the coupon to Chili's to get Bryce Papenbook as Rex. Hey, granted, Rex's VA really grew on me after a while, but still. There's a few technical issues here and there, like there was some popping after the fast travel, and there are frame rate drops in the middle of battle and in the cities when there's a lot of stuff happening on screen, and the audio pops from time to time too. It makes me worry about the Switch a little if it can't handle these bigger titles as easily as the PS4 Xbox One can. And finally, I think the biggest flaw of this game is the menu fucking. You're gonna have to go into the pause menu a lot to set your blades, customize your characters, check your side missions, check your merc missions, and go fast travel and save. It's really annoying, and I feel like it breaks the flow too much. I wish there was a way to maybe, have preset blade combinations or something else, but the UI definitely needed some work on before the game came out, because it's not fun hitting the pause button all the time. It really isn't that fun. Despite those faults, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 makes some much needed improvements over its predecessors. The art style is fantastic and leads to more emotive characters instead of the dead eyes we had in the first two titles. And indeed, the game is stunning to look at, and it runs mostly smooth outside of the aforementioned technical issues. And the side quests, despite the one more thing nature of them, are paced better and they don't throw a million at you at once. And it also helps that each character that is requesting your assistance, they have a name, they have a purpose, better than just, soldier number 3 from fucking colony number 9 from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Additionally, side quests have more benefit besides just EXP or gold. You actually need them to develop your cities and gain more stuff in the cities, like better weapons and so on and so forth. This game is way better about griefing you a lot less than the previous two titles. Other than a random level 92 T-Rex in the opening world, I felt pretty well equipped to take on just about any challenge Alrest had to throw at me and my adventures of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And of course, like I mentioned, the combat, once you master it, gives you a huge rush, and it's so satisfying to take out these big baddies. And most importantly, the Nopon are no longer the unlikable, incompetent boobs they were in Xenoblade Chronicles X. Shouts to Tora being actually worthwhile, but ran outs to him for going meh meh meh. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a game that is not for everybody. It will frustrate you at times and really test your patience early on, but for those willing to put in the time, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a rewarding experience and one of the richest the Switch has to offer so far. I feel like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a very solid game. It's a very fun game if you give it the chance to really show its true colors to you. But at the same time, though, I will say it isn't quite as good as its predecessors like Xenoblade Chronicles X or Xenoblade Chronicles 1 on the Wii. But that said, though, it is a very solid game. But if you're not into JRPGs, it's not going to cause an epiphany for you. That's why my final verdict on Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is an 8 out of 10. A very respectable game, very fun game. But like I said, you just really need to give it a chance before it can really show its true colors for you. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's pretty good. 8th best game of the year, according to me. And that's the only opinion you need to know. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you on the next episode of The Z-Man Show. Later everybody.